and a half, and now I rent a room in Finsbury Park, so I'm doing all right now.
There was a story that one of you lived in a place where you were cooking eggs one morning in the kitchen.
That was me.
That was her.
Actually, it used to be her old flat, and she moved out and up in the world, and I moved in from Los Angeles, because I was a bit later than her coming over here. And, yeah, it just had terrible wood rot. So that was a bit devastating. It definitely threw me off balance.
You haven't described what happened. What happened?
Well, I was cooking eggs one morning, and the floor was so rotten that I fell through like 3 feet. The layers just gave way on the floor, and I actually fell through to the ground one morning.
Well, didn't you at that point think, I'd rather be back on the beach in California?
I think I did at that moment, but that's just a temporary feeling, because I was always doing things in LA, planning for if the band didn't work out and putting no effort into the band at all. So I think I figured that it's just something that you have to go through, really.
It's just a payoff.
Paying your dues, yeah.
Yeah, well, absolutely. The truth is that it's British men you came over for.
Oh, yeah.
Irishmen.
I thought you might get that, Sass. Yes, that's
best.
true.
You're sitting next to one of the best.
Yes.
Yes, you should have heard what they were saying about you in makeup.
Oh, really?
What were they saying about George in makeup?
No.
Ah,
Never mind.
I say nothing, I say nothing.
now you're embarrassing. But it made for a smashing omelette, didn't it, as you crashed through the floor, shaking those eggs about?
Actually,
Or a
I was
pancake.
too stunned to even eat it at that point.
I'll bet. Yeah, but, I mean, there is a difference, isn't there, between... Sorry to pursue this line, but there is a difference between American men and British men.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
But can you say what it is? I was going to say, can you put your finger on it, but that's the wrong phrase.
No, don't say
We're
that.
from California, so the California boys especially are different. Complete
Surfer.
opposite.
Blonde.
Long, ratty hair, surfers, only care about the beach and the waves. And the English guys, I find, the Doc Martens, the long coats, not as tan, obviously.
No.
A little more, I find they're a little more politically aware of things.
Sure. And a bit more shy.
Yeah.
You said that, yeah. I mean, how do they react to women? Because the Californian boys, whenever, I mean, we only ever see what we see on films, I suppose. You see there's a certain arrogance, or there's a certain... Actually, they don't seem to care very much about it.
All right, babe, how you doing? No way.
Laid back, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
And what about British men's attitude?
I think that British men towards American women, I think that Tracy and I in particular might be a bit, not aggressive, but we're very talkative, and I think that maybe that takes people a second to get used to, whereas American boys are very, hey, what's going on? Instantly there's a lot of conversation, whereas British boys tend to, ooh. And I suppose it's a good thing. They don't seem to dive right in. Yeah, manners.
Ever been chatted up by an Irishman?
Sure.
Oh, those are great.
I think you're about to be again.
They're the best at chatting up,
Yeah.
I think. they got the gift of the gab as well.
We've heard what the girls have had to say. We'll hear more in a moment or so, and we'll also be talking to George. But let's hear some music, shall we? This morning's pop video. Here it is, the voice of the Beehive with I Say Nothing, the re-released version. Have a close look at the drummer as well. Do you recognise him?
Up in the morning and say, who the hell are you? And then she turned to me and said, we know you. Tell us some secrets, honey, we won't say a word, but I say nothing. I talk to no one. I know what I believe, don't need to wear it on my sleeve. I talk to no one, and I will say nothing. If we come and go alone, why do they need to know? The boy who's always mad, he's just alone and sad. He holds my hand so tightly, he says, go away, I'm bad. I'll leave you black and blue, and I'll rip your heart in two. But it is just because I do not know how to be true. That's why I sometimes stand alone at parties. That's why I drink so I'll be who they think I am. But don't say nothing, don't talk to no one. I'm not what they believe, and if they find out they will leave. Don't talk to no one, just don't say nothing. If we come and go alone, why do they need to know our games? All those endless days of all those sci-fi slaves. The noise was just a drag until you said close your eyes and listen.
Hi.
Just in case anyone was thinking, the drummer was Woody from Madness.
Yeah.
Dear Woody, good
I
morning
hear,
if he's watching. I
Nice
don't
song,
know.
very 60s again. Do you create that on purpose,
No.
that sound?
I think it's the guitars. Things have gotten so away from the guitar nowadays that we're going definitely back to guitar music, not that we've ever gone away
Here
from
we go
it.
again.
But I think that that's where you get the 60s and the harmonies as well, which is very 60s trait.
Nothing wrong with the 60s, George. Best?
I can't remember the 60s. To be quite
For what reason?
Great period.
It was. In fact, we're going to be talking about 60s a bit later on in the programme because of that awful new book that's come out about John Lennon that says that he was a drug-crazed anorexic homosexual. In fact, Paul McCartney, who very, very rarely speaks about John Lennon, has sort of decided to speak out against that book and has urged everybody to boycott it.
Did you know John Lennon, George?
I knew most of them, yeah, sort of. I was around about the same time.
You were the fifth Beatle, weren't you, at
That
that
was,
time?
yeah, we were all the long hair brigade, yeah. It's amazing when you look back when they talk about long hair in those days. I mean, it was about here. Yeah.
Actually, something else we're going to be talking about a bit later on in the programme is the British press. And you've already experienced the British press,
My first
haven't you?
taste of the British press.
What happened? What happened,
Tell us what
Tracy?
happened.
What?
What happened?
Well, I just was reading the Mirror, or however you say it, the Mirror, Daily Mirror, and it said that I own a 250,000-pound flat in Manor House, and I rent a room in a
And
flat.
she won't rent rooms to me because we constantly argue. This is crazy.
And the thing is, I had talked to the man, and he was really nice, and we'd had a really nice conversation, talking about all kinds of interesting things other than that, and I just don't understand how he got that. I can't fathom how he got that from our
renting
conversation.
one room to owning. Oh, well,
Our
I
landlord,
suppose
my
we'll take it with a
landlord's
grain of
going to
salt.
see it and just call and say, look.
That surprised you to hear that, George?
Oh, yeah, that's a big surprise that the British press got something wrong. Yeah.
Well, girls, thanks for popping in this morning. Every
Thank
good
you
wish,
for
of
having
course. Smashing new record. We wish you
Thank you.
success with that, and pop back and see us again soon.
Thank you.
Yeah, you
Thank
add
you.
a splash of colour to any programme. It's great to see you. Thanks. Quick look at the